name is Heath Smith, lead game designer on Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
My name is Dozois, I'm the narrative director. Well, in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it's really the end of Lara's origin story. So in 2013, she's in a survival situation, right? Her motivation at the core was to prove her father was wrong about believing in all these myths. And at the end of that story, she realizes, I don't know everything. My father was right about some things. So we go into Rise of the Tomb Raider. She's trying to get proof that he was right. And she goes off for the first time being more proactive, trying to get evidence, physical evidence that some myths are real. And she finds, ultimately, the source, right? So this drive, this is turning into an obsession. So early on in the game, when people have seen this, this is really, we want to show her kind of going on the wrong path, and she's starting to become the people she's hunting. You know, if you stare at the darkness long enough, it starts to stare back into you, and that's kind of the path that she's on. Now, she's trying to stop Trinity. Trinity's a bad organization. They killed her father. But she's going too far too fast, and she doesn't have all the pieces of the puzzle. So at the beginning, she's really pursuing this artifact, and she takes it before knowing the full picture. So that's kind of the darkness that she's in, is just overstepping her boundaries a little bit, and she needs to kind of correct this mistake. So this game is about, you know, learning to look before you leap, and learning responsibility and moderation. You know, ultimately, a story is an emotional thing. When people resonate well with it, is because when they feel something.
I can say from the gameplay side, we really took those themes and ran with them. So, you know, repairing a mistake, like you just said, Jason, that something that even goes down into the combat gameplay this time. If you mess up, you can recover, you can camouflage yourself, hide yourself, and try again and see. Because this is what we're saying, is being an adult and being a hero, actually, is not just making all the correct decisions all the time, but what do you do when you make a mistake? How do you recover from that? And also, of course, the theme of descent, like you talk about descending into darkness, perhaps touching the darkness and realizing you don't want to go there. A lot of our new mechanics are themed around descent. So we have a rappelling where you can rappel down and wall run, etc. We have underwater experience, which is all about descending into darkness and surviving and not drowning, right? So these are very much espousing these themes that we're talking about in the narrative.
So it all started first with the setting, right? And we wanted to get closer and closer to being inspired from the classics. So we said, all right, let's do jungle. When we did the pitch of the game, the one-word pitch was fear. So we take jungle, we take fear, and then everyone goes off and they try to, you know, on the game mechanics, on the story side, all these things to come together, the art, you know, the tombs, and everything is using those two words, jungle and fear, to try and do that. Then it's an editing process to make it all come together.
Yeah, on the gameplay side, one of the big challenges we faced was an expanded social experience. The most fundamental things, like when you have a hub, you have what's called gear gating, right, which is from Metroidvania games, where you need a piece of gear to be able to access that area. Even that is changed fundamentally by having people in that space. A type of gear gate is now what you're wearing, you know, because maybe you can't access this area if you're not wearing that costume. So we just had a lot of challenges to face, but we also had a lot of fun solving those challenges. We always try to have like those layers of history, layers of traversal that complement each other, not having too many on top of each other so you don't get lost. If you put a point on the map, you're not like going through 10 layer cakes, right? So yeah, you have to find a way to make it feel vast but without feeling empty. So you're always giving the player new experiences.